Morning, everybody. It's P. Mashiach here. Hoping all my fellow P. Mashiachs in the world are doing okay. Anyway, yeah, just here to talk about things in general. I know I haven't been doing a lot of talk videos. I've been investing all my time in the music biz. That's what I'm doing. I mean, back in the day, I was a songwriter. I could write a lot of good songs. I wrote a lot of good songs. I even had a couple albums. I even helped produced an album from a band called Lionel Ryan. So I got some experience in the music field. I know the power of it. So the whole thing is, it's kind of like, all right, I'm getting older. What do I want to invest my time in? What's the easiest thing going to be? So, what I'm doing pretty much is I'm taking my lyrics, my poems, turning them into lyrics, and then turning them into music for the consumers of the world that like music. I think looking at this whole how we're doing music now, because back in the day I had to go into studios, I had to work with bands, it was a pain in the ass. It really was. All it takes is one person to ruin everything. And like when you're working with the music, you're hoping that maybe they'll pick up on some of your songs. That's all I was in it for, was like try to get my songs played and you know the songs I was creating. So, but it's not the easiest thing to do. So recently, stumbled upon Suno. The app for AI music, and taking just my um, book, Finding Bellerman. It's a book I wrote years ago, and it's all my poetry and some lyrics that are in there from some songs. So I was like, well, why don't I just take these poems and turn them into music? And it would kind of like puff up my war chest on being P. Mashiach. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm going to take all my poems and turn them into music. With AI, if you're a poet, I think with music, with AI, where it's going, if you're a lyricist and or a poet, I think it's made for you. I mean, you could be a musician. Even musicians, you could tell that, once I started rolling around with this AI music, I could tell like we're already knee deep in AI and music. We just didn't know it. So I mean, they've been cheating a long time, the big boys. They've been using this stuff for a long time. You could tell. So I'm like, all right, I've jumped in. I'm on board. I'm doing it. I'm happy with what's coming out, what's being produced. Some of this music. Back in the day, I remember trying to get this one album done, and to find somebody to master it. A good master artist. I mean, one of the best we were trying to go for. It was like 20 grand. You do a song with this AI stuff. I even did a test on what mastering is best, like sending it to human or having AI do it. And me and the majority of people picked the AI version. unmastering the song. So I think the human element is music right now is 75% dead. I mean, you might now find somebody whittling a guitar or stuff like that, but where music is going on making money, unless you're a big hit, big band with some type of bravado and charm, what are you going to get? I mean, what I'm doing with the music is a push of a button, pretty much. Just I define the music, I define the genre. I try to get to where all the lyrics are fitting in properly where they need to be. One poem blew me away. I'll put that poem underneath. But I had this poem called Five Angry Men. I took that poem and I put it into AI. And I'm telling you, word for word, it made a song out of it. And it blew me away. I'll put it in the description when I'm done. It's called Five Angry Men, but just taking a poem and word for word, not changing anything and making a song like it made. That's what did it to me. I was just like, I shouldn't have this much power. That's what I thought. I was like, oh my God, I can't have this much power. I'm a lyrics, I'm a poet, I'm a writer. I could write songs up the yin yang all day long. It's not hard for me. But I've always done it with my guitar and, whittle out a song and, play around with it, write, scratch out, do all. Those days are long gone now. I got 20 years. I got 20 years to make it to fulfill all the prophecies of the Abrahamic faith. So, I mean, I'll be in my 80s this lifetime anyway. So, if I could free up some time and put a little bit more in my war chest, as Mashiach, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm getting the word out there. I made a beautiful song about the Mashiach star that I was born under, Ikea Siki. I'm trying to help people understand, through music and song now, who I am. That's what I'm trying to use. It's a powerful medium. I mean, Mashiachs of the past didn't have this. I mean, could you imagine if Jesus had something like Suno back in the day? Oh my God. He'd just take all his words and just put them out there and just write them like I'm doing, like as Mashiach ben David. That's the whole. I'm to the point to where that's who I am. I'm Mashiach ben David. I'm not the Mashiach ben Joseph. That's the Jesus Mashiach back in the day. That's him. All over. I mean, it is what it is. It's the Mashiachs of the time, and I'm the Mashiach of the time. Until the prophecies are all fulfilled, though, I have to see myself as Mashiach. I ask other people to see me as P Mashiach, the P Mashiach, the probable, the possible, the whatever. But you can't see me fully as a Mashiach yet. It's just not until all prophecies have been fulfilled. I mean, it's just a safe way to go. I'm protecting the people on this from even like, I'm very well aware of the trickster energy. One of the things after I died, and Hashem put me on the road of the shaman to fulfill the prophecies of the first peoples of the Americas. Excuse me. One of the things I had to become very aware of was the trickster, like that archetype. Like one of the first places I was sent to, and I do call it sent because that's how it works. When Hashem puts you on the journey, you're going to run into people, and you just kind of like flow with the path of least resistance, trying to just make it in and out, make it where what does Hashem want me to learn? So one of the things he taught me, man, was like the when I was going around the Americas fulfilling the prophecies of the Americas, one of the things I learned was about the trickster. I mean, right now I look at it as part of the shaitan, Hashem's shaitan, totally controlled by Hashem. But you have to be very aware of the trickster. Like, what are you doing? What's your next choice? Is it going to be? Are you making it for the trickster? Anyway, the one of the songs I do have in my cache is called Elmer Running, and he was the medicine man who Dream of Elmer Running. Check it out. It's maybe I'll even put it in the description underneath. But that was a song about when I was trying to produce an album with this one band called Align Orion, and one of the producers was named Orion. So, it was one of those things. But in the end, there was a fight in the production room between the singer and the producer. It fell apart. All that hard work, all that money invested, everything like that just fell apart. It took us another 3 years to finally get the album done. Never really went anywhere because of, ego, too many egos got into the way. Too many tricksters, are out there in the music business. They overprice everything. But now just got my Suno. I'm going to put my Suno in there, my thoughts, my feelings within the music, and let the music speak for me. It's much better than me trying to soften the tone of things by doing it with this voice I have here, because my voice I have is pretty direct. you know, Hashem gave me a voice that's pretty direct. I mean, I got a tune, I can sing a tune, but it's a voice that's very direct. It's very blunt. It's not charming at all. But it is what it is. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. So I've been working on the music a lot, kind of like I said, getting the war chest filled. I'm almost done with the book Finding Bellerman, because that's where I'm putting all